Aristan are soldiers. The Qun made it so. They can never vary from that assigned path, never be other than they are meant to be. But they are free to choose within that role, to accept and succeed, or deny and die. Glory is clear and defined.
If that isn't the most Qunari thing you've heard all year, I don't know what is. The Qun is a code of honor, followed by the Qunari. Unlike what many people think, the Qun is not a religion, it's a philosophy, a set of laws, a legislative guide, a social architecture. This code defines the role of everyone and everything among the Qunari. Those that are raised as soldiers are expected to be strong, disciplined, stoic, and adhering without question. Qunari are fanatical in this devotion, which is why they are willing to wage wars in order to spread this certainty to other people, to enlighten them in their philosophy. The Qun covers a wide variety of topics, so far reaching that almost none of the Qunari know the whole thing.
It's not a secret. It's just too big for a quick chat. Tell me about the Qun is like saying tell me about economics. Most Qunari know just enough to get by. It's like blind dwarves trying to figure out a dragon by touch. Only the priests really have the whole picture, and they spend their whole lives figuring that crap out.
One of these concepts is the idea of Asit Tal-Eb, it is to be. When the Ashkari looked upon the destruction wrought by locusts, he saw at last the order of the world. A plague must cause suffering for as long as it endures. Earthquakes must shatter the land. They are bound by their being. Asit Tal-Eb, it is to be. For the world and the self are one. Existence is a choice. A self of suffering brings only suffering to the world. It is a choice, and we can refuse it. What this means is, as I mentioned before, that everyone and everything in the world has a role, and all these things together form the order of the world. Everyone has the choice of accepting this role and act according to their nature, or oppose it and fight against themselves and the world. There is no individuality in the world. Everyone is part of the whole. Each one's nature contributes to the larger nature of the world, as does their struggle against it. Acting according to nature benefits. Struggling against it harms the balance of the world.
The rule of the Qun is not military. It is discipline and order.
Every aspect of Qunari life is dictated by the Qun. From their role in society, their quasi-jobs, as well as how they should act and think. Qunari follow these things without question, and find it to be necessary to educate others of these teachings, forcefully if need be. The Qun is the true source of morality, and all that reject it live in self-indulgence and suffering. In their eyes, bringing the Qun to others is to free them of their self-inflicted torment.
We have but one weapon, the certainty of the Qun. It cannot be used against us.
All are defined by their role, which is unchangeable and fundamental to their lives. Thus they value their tools greatly. The tool of a sten is their sword. It carries the soul of the individual Qunari, unlike the body, which is only considered a vessel. Should one return to their homeland without it, they would likely be shamed, if not executed on the spot.
Arishok, Arigena, Ariqun, pillars of the Qunari, of the nation that must be.
This strict society is ruled by an even stricter hierarchy. The triumvirate, the three pillars of the Qunari. The body is represented by the Arishok, a role that is exclusive to male Qunari. Their reasoning for that is that the Qunari believe only males can be professional warriors. He's the leader and highest ranking general of the Antam, the Qunari military. Although the Antam is usually the only branch of the Qunari encountered outside of Parvolan, the Arishok rarely leads them personally, except when Isabella steals the Tome of Koslun. The mind of the Qunari is represented by the Arigena, a role exclusive to women, likely stemming from the belief that women in Qunari society often hold administrative roles, because they are far better at organizing than men. She represents the industrial, agricultural and mercantile branches of the government. The merchants and craftsmen are in charge of constructing everything that the Qunari have need of, and its fair distribution among followers of the Qun. Finally, the soul of the Qunari is represented by the Ariqun. They are in charge of two branches. The Temesrans, a female-only role. Temesrans control the selective breeding of the Qunari, raise the resulting children and assign them their roles. It is something akin to a mother, only harsher and not related to you. Basically a stepmother. The Arikun is also in charge of the Ben Hasrath. While they are mostly known as the spies of the Qunari, they are also in charge of law enforcement. This includes re-educating rebellious Qunari and new converts to the Qun.
We accept those who submit to the Qun. The weak naturally seek the strong.
Qunari, meaning people of the Qun, is the name most commonly used to describe the race of giants. Technically, anyone that converts to the Qun becomes Qunari, yet those are usually called Viddathari within the Qun itself. Qunari accept anyone into their society that didn't turn their back on the Qun already. Whether it be dwarves, elves or humans, as long as they accept their teachings and accept their role, they will be welcome. Even Qunari that were never born into the Qun, who are known as Vashoth, meaning Grey One, are still welcome. Only Tal-Vashoth, the true Grey Ones, are exiled forever. Qunari have no concept of personal identity and thus do not make use of names. While they do have them, they are more a string of information, only used by the Temasrans for record keeping. They instead refer to each other by their titles, or also very commonly nicknames. Similar to not having any personal identity, Qunari have no family ties as well. A father's role ends at conception, a mother's ends at birth. They have no idea to whom they are related. Qunari are bred for a purpose, to strengthen the Qun. Likely as a result of their rigorous education from a very young age, Qunari have technology superior to that of any other race on Thedas. Gatlock is one such example, an explosive powder that is highly sought after by dwarven merchants. It is far safer than lyrium, and everyone can use it, which is the reason the Qunari guard the formula with their lives. One thing that might seem antiquated in the eyes of the other races, however, is their treatment of mages. While mages in the rest of Thedas aren't exactly treated pleasantly either, Qunari take the cake. Cerebas is what they call their own mages, meaning dangerous thing. In Qunat, it gives a rather grim insight into the mindset of magic under the Qun. They believe mages to be unable to master themselves, which is the ultimate goal for every Qunari, so every Cerebas is entrusted with an Alvarad. They are treated little better than dogs, leashed and collared, with their mouths soon shut so they can't corrupt others. Yet still they don't blame them for their dangerous nature. Should a Cerebas be separated from his Alvarad and the Karatam, the punishment is death, as they believe they have been corrupted by demons. They wear armor with chains all over them, which can be used to immobilize them through use of a device held by their keeper. Despite not having any formal education or training, being treated like dogs, killed should they so much as step away from their keeper for a moment, the Qunari frequently use them in battle. The Cerebas is pitied, but honored. Their striving for mastery over themselves, while under constant threat, their selflessness and willingness to kill themselves according to the Qun, is considered the greatest virtue of the philosophy that rules an entire people, the people of the Qun.
Have a good one.